So what's the other game you wanted to touch on, Joe?
Kind of staying in the same division. The Saints have the Rams at home this week, and boy, I thought the Saints last week against Cincinnati were just going to walk away with that and cover the contest, and again, they seem to leave the back door open all the time when they're laying points, and I know the Rams have been very good as an underdog. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, this is like the suspension of disbelief that Al always talks about. He talks about it with the favorites and the underdogs, where each week the customers think that the favorites are finally going to come back and kill the underdogs. And I mean, this week the favorites had their best week. I think it was 8-8, like Al said earlier. But it's just not happening. Everyone's waiting for New Orleans to come and start blowing teams out again, and it's just not happening. They're not blowing teams out. They're not covering the spread. They're not a good team to bet on. You got to face it. 9 points here, I think is a real good spot for the dog.
Yeah, now St. Louis is playing its third straight road game. So they did win the first two, but let's face it, it's a step up in competition after you beat the Broncos in Denver and the Cardinals in Arizona. So third straight road with a rookie quarterback, something to be concerned about. New Orleans at home this year, undefeated, outscoring its foes by an average of 13 points a game. That's not an overwhelming margin when you're being asked to lay 9 points. I think the way to play this game, though, is you got to look at the total. It's sitting right at 47 points. We've seen the Saints are scoring points, no problem. We've seen the Saints defense repeatedly, week after week, Thanksgiving against Dallas, last week against Cincinnati, give up plenty of points. And the Rams have turned into a pretty darn good offensive team. They've got Steven Jackson. Yep. They've got Sam Bradford, who's, forget it, he's no longer a rookie. He's playing with such polish and confidence and maturity. So I think you play this one over and maybe look for maybe 50, 52 points to be scored.
And also keep in mind that St. Louis is a really good, when they come in as a dog, I think they're 7-2 their last 9 spots as a dog. So, I mean, that's another reason why I like St. Louis here.
Yeah, and the defense, their last 8 games, they've only given up an average of like 17, 18 points a game. So, playing exceptionally well. This is one of the really unheralded teams that's had a complete turnaround this season. Back to the phones, and we're going to pick up now with Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Dan, what's
Where are you
happening?
calling from, Dan?
I'm calling from Boston, fellas. How are you today?
Good.
I love the show. I want to get your opinion on the New England-Chicago game. I think the Bears are a fraud, and Tom Brady's back in the zone.
Spoken like a true Bostonian.
Yeah.
I think you, Dan, like the rest of the country, just saw New England whoop a Jet team that probably wasn't as good as their billing claimed they were. Both teams were going into the game 9-2, but the Jets, man, I mean, they really hadn't beaten anybody. How many times did you hear Rex Ryan after the games go to the podium and say, "Well, I'm sorry that I gave Jets fans a heart attack today, but it's better to be lucky than good sometimes." I mean, you're not going to get away with lucky against New England. So the other person that was watching this game, Dan, was the lines makers. So when they make this line in the Chicago game, New England 3, that's knowing that the public perception right now of New England is about as high as it's ever going to be. And they're not morons. So when they make this line 3, they're not looking to give away money. We talked about it earlier. Al will tell you why Chicago's probably a good play. I like Chicago in the first half here because I think New England has earned the right to come out sluggish in the first half here, coming off their biggest game of the season for them. And I do think they get it together and probably win this game in the end. But I would take Chicago plus 1.5 points in the first half.
Yeah, and Chicago in the game getting 3, I think the way to play it is to buy up the 0.5 point to 3.5 and take the Bears plus 3.5. They've won 5 in a row. Last home game, a 3.5 point underdog against a Philadelphia team that had won 3 straight. They beat them, and they beat them badly, despite what the final score really indicates. And again, I just think that you don't find New England getting up emotionally and mentally for this game after coming off a short week of prep time and now finding themselves off a Monday night game on the road against a Chicago team. This is a game that they've circled on their calendar, a step-up game for them, and their defense has played exceptionally well this year, giving up an average of 16 points a game. They played Michael Vick. They've taken care of business against Brett Favre. They've taken care of, when they faced Aaron Rodgers. It's not like Tom Brady's the first good quarterback they faced this year.
But it'll be their toughest challenge.
Oh, absolutely. But I think it's a dog play all the way here. And remember, again, I mentioned this earlier in the show. Despite what you saw on Monday night,
right,
perception is not reality. Patriots have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Bears have one of the best. Before we go back to the phones here, a couple of quick reminders. If you've missed any portion of the first half hour of the show, remember you can catch it in its entirety over on picknation.com, picknation.com. If you happen to be watching us on foxsports.com today, we only air the first 30 minutes of the show there, so make sure you check out the second half hour as we continue to break down all of your games from a point spread perspective. And also, let's talk about the free access pass at picknation.com, because we are unique. Not only are we the world's largest online sports gambling community, over 10,000 members worldwide, but we're the only people out there willing to put our money where our mouth is, showing you how good we are by not taking your money.
Yeah, and we don't just do it on the show, because let's talk about that and take it a step back a second. We get on the show, and Al is a professional handicapper, me as a former bookmaker. We're willing to discuss every single game on the board, no holds barred, any game that the caller asks about. We don't know what they're going to ask about. We give them our opinion, our full opinion, but you have to take into consideration that there's a big difference with us talking about every single game and then taking our professional opinion and narrowing that card down to a best bet. And that's what really counts, and that's what we do on our website. So when you come to our website as a new customer and you take part of the All Access Pass, where it gives you, not just like we do on the show here, opinions about every game, because you know what they say opinions are like. It gives you the actual best bets from every single handicapper on the site for that day. It's like a $500 value. You get everyone's play that they've narrowed the card down, the play that they're going with, their best possible bet on the card. You get all the analysis, everything for free. We pull the curtain back, let you see everything, because it's our opinion that what we do is so good that you're going to love it and that you're going to be our customer forever. So giving you 1 day for free, in the grand scheme of things, all it does is it helps you feel more comfortable that the product you're getting is worth the small price you're paying for it.
And just to amplify a couple of the points you made, win or lose, you take that free day of access today. Tomorrow, you come to the site, you're going to see whether I won, whether he lost. Every single handicapper on their page is going to have their win-loss record from the day prior. And guys, .com is the most important thing here. This is no sales organization. There are no 800 numbers to call, no recorded messages to listen to, no guy with a thick New York accent to
Except
beat
me.
to beat you up on the phone, telling you how much, calling you morning, noon, and night. .com.
No phones at all.
No, 100% online business. That's why we're the biggest. And as we always say, without integrity, we have nothing. So again, the only thing you have to lose is not taking advantage of the opportunity, because it's a free opportunity. 12, 13 handicappers. Not every guy releases a play every day, but at least 12, if not 13 guys today. You will get their plays for free. Steve said over a $500, $600 value. Totally free, no strings attached, only at picknation.com.
And the other thing also that you won't see on picknation.com is any sportsbook advertisers. And you have to ask yourself as a customer, when you're going to the competitor sites and you see that it's dominated by sportsbook advertising, wouldn't a sportsbook be afraid to get customers from a place that was giving out winners? Why are they so comfortable in advertising on our competitors' sites, but you don't see them on our sites? You have to ask yourself that question.
And let's remember, a lot of those sites that advertise the sports books, they're making a cut on the losses that you incur. So there's really no incentive for the handicappers to win games, because they're making money when you come into a sports book.
On
they're
the
advertising
referral fees, on the commissions, on the back end and the back door. That's why every time you open up an account with that online information site, they're sending you a sportsbook email 5 minutes later. It's not a coincidence. No coincidences in this business.
No, so take advantage of the free one-day all-access pass at picknation.com. And remember, we've got another 30 minutes to go. A lot of great games we haven't even started to hit on here. Plus, one of the first games out of the break we'll talk about is Denver, Arizona. And we're going to hit Zach in Peoria, Illinois, who wants to talk about the Giants-Vikings game. That's coming up in the second 30 minutes right here on the Pick Nation Report.